Hi and welcome to my tutorial about trafficking audio ads using the Ad Manager API. My name is Thắng Dương. I am a developer advocate from the Google Ads Developer Relations team. This video shows you the basics of audio ads in the Ad Manager API and how to automate your ad network for serving audio ads. I use the Python client library for demo. So, if you aren't familiar with it, please check out the Getting Started with Python tutorial. First, you'll learn about the overview of audio ads support in the Google Ads API. Then, you'll see a code walkthrough of our Python examples. Next, you'll see me demonstrate how the code runs on a test network using Visual Code. There's a summary at the end of the video. You may ask what audio ads are and how they're different from other formats, such as video ads. Well, if you're a publisher with audio content, for example, you have a mobile app for streaming music or radio, or providing a text-to-speech functionality, you can use the Google Interactive Media Ads SDK to insert audio ads to your audio content. These ads are short audio files that are designed to reach users and optimized for listening. The creatives can be MP3 files that are served as VAS tags, similar to how video ads are served. To automate audio ads trafficking tasks, you can use the Ad Manager API version that was released in August 2020 or newer versions. From this version, the API added a new isAudio flag to the VAST redirect creative type. You will need to set this flag to true for audio creatives. Similarly, the API added the isAudio flag to the AdUnitSize class so that you can indicate which ad units expect audio creatives. The third and last component of API support is that the creative size type enumeration has a new audio value. You can use this value to create line item targetings to match with audio ads requests. Next, let's see how these changes can be used in the code. It's likely that you have already set up ad units in your production network. However, if you would like to change an existing ad unit to serve audio ads or to create new ad units dedicated to audio ads, this step is for you. If you use the Ad Manager UI to create or update an ad unit, you can use the UI to add an audio size to the master creative. Behind the scenes, this audio size on the UI is translated to a special 1:1 size. If the ad unit already has a video size, it's eligible to serve both video and audio ads, and you don't have to specify an additional audio size. An easy way to start with the Python client library is to copy the example code on our GitHub repository. You can copy and modify the Create Ad Units example for creating audio ad units. The example code starts with initializing the inventory service, which is responsible for managing ad units. Next, you need to create an ad unit size object that has the width and height set to 1 and the isAudio flag set to true. You also need to set the environment type to the video player to differentiate this size from display ad sizes. The rest of the example code should work as is to create and send an ad unit object to Google Ad Manager services. Once you have the ad units set up, you can create audio line items to match with audio ad requests for those ad units. The process of making a line item with audio creatives can be broken into 5 steps. First, you create a line item object. Next, you create an audio creative and a banner creative. Then, you create a creative set to combine these creatives as a master and a companion. The last step is to make an association between the line item and the master creative. This is often referred to as a LICA, which stands for Line Item Creative Association. Since video and audio line items are quite similar, I'm going to show you how to refactor the Create Video Line Item example to create an audio line item. The example starts with initializing the line item service. It then creates a line item object, which will need to have the same video player environment type as the ad units. Additionally, the line item needs to target ad requests made by video players. For that, its targeted request platforms field must contain the video player value. If you want to target the ad request at the beginning of a content stream, you can add a video position targeting with position type pre-roll. In order to associate an audio creative to a line item, you need to set the creative placeholders for the audio creative to 1 by 1. If your web or mobile app has a place to display a companion banner, you can set the sizes of the banner's placeholders as well. In this example, I used 300 by 250 for a medium rectangle companion banner. This tutorial shows only the most important fields about audio ads. In reality, you'll have more fields to set up for your line items. I can now call the line item service for creating a line item on Ad Manager servers. Now that I've created a line item, let's make an audio and banner creatives together in one code example. To make an audio creative with the API, you will need to use the vast redirect creatives type. It redirects the ad request to third-party ad servers that return vast tags with the actual media files and other metadata. Currently, this is the only creative type that the Ad Manager API supports. You should use the Ad Manager UI to create and upload creatives of other types. If you need a vast tag for testing, you can check out the sample tags that Google provides on the Google Interactive Media Ads developer site. In this tutorial, I'm using the first one from the list. It's the single inline linear tag. If you get a vast tag from an advertiser and you would like to test it out, you can visit the Video Suite Inspector tool and paste the vast tag or its URL. This tool uses the IMA HTML5 SDK to parse a vast tag and show both the master and companion ads. This step can help confirm the readiness of a given vast tag before trafficking it to the production network. Now let's get back to the code. I'm showing you a snippet from the Create Creatives example from GitHub that starts with initializing the creative service. Using the same creative service instance, you can create both the audio creative and the banner. First, let's take a closer look at how to create an audio creative. Because Python is a dynamic typed language, it is required that you set the XSI type property explicitly to vast redirect creative. If you use other strongly typed languages, you can use the Ad Manager client's library provided for that language. In many cases, the client libraries take care of the XSI property by inferring its value from the object type. To indicate that this is an audio creative, you need to set its size to 1 by 1 with the isAudio field set to true. This size will match with the creative placeholder size of the line item in the previous code example. Next, I'm using the single inline linear sample tag for the vast XML URL field. Please note that Ad Manager ad servers prevent serving the same ad to the same user multiple times. This feature is called frequency capping. For my testing purpose, I append a correlator parameter with a catch buster macro to the vast XML URL. This will make the redirect calls to Ad Manager ad servers appear to be unique so that I can get the same ad multiple times. That's it for the audio creative. Now for the companion banner, I use a local image file. In this case, is the medium rectangle JPG. When Python reads the image file, it returns a binary array for the image data. That binary array is needed for the assets byte array field when creating an image asset object. Then you can create an image creative object from the image asset object. In this code snippet, you can see how I set the XSI type for the creative asset and the image creative accordingly. Once you set up the audio and banner creative objects, you can combine them in a single call to the creative service for saving these creatives on the servers. When successful, the server will return the IDs of the audio creative and the image creative together. These IDs will be useful for later steps. So far, I have created the line item, an audio, and banner creatives. Now, let's put the creatives together in a creative set. To do so, I start with initializing the creative set service. From the previous step, I copy the audio creative ID to the master creative ID field, and then I copy the image banner creative ID to the companion creatives IDs array. Then I pass the creative set object to the create creative set function for saving the creative set on Ad Manager servers. If it's successful, the server will return the creative set object with its ID. Using the line item and the audio creative, I can make an association between these two entities. I initialized the line item creative association service for creating this association. I passed the audio creative ID and the line item ID from the previous steps to create a Leica object. Then I pass the object to the create creative associations function to save it on Ad Manager servers. That's the end of the code walkthrough. Now let me show you a demo of how the code works. Here's my terminal window on Mac. First, I clone the Google Apps Python library from GitHub. This library has many examples to help you get started with the API. After cloning the repo, I copy 5 examples into my current working directory. These examples are for creating ad units, line items, creatives, creative sets, and line item associations. The example to create creatives will use an image file for the companion banner. So I copy the medium rectangle.jpg file from the repo to the current working directory. Now that I have all the files that I need, I'm removing the repo clone from my working directory. Before diving into each example, I list all the files that I currently have. All looks good, so I open the current directory in Visual Code to start coding. First, I edit the create ad units example. In my test ad network, I find the top level ad unit and copy its ID to this example as parent ad unit ID. To make the ad unit eligible for audio ad request, I set the ad unit size to 1 by 1, set the ease audio property to true, and change the environment type to video instead of browser. Last, I'm going to change the description of the ad unit to audio ad unit and run the script. Once the ad unit is created, the script brings its ID and name. I copy the output and save it with the script for future reference. Next, I edit the create line items example by giving it an existing order ID. This example uses placement targeting. In order to target the new audio ad unit, I rename the targeted placement IDs variable and copy the ad unit ID that I have recently created in the previous example. Similarly, I renamed the parameter of the main function to targeted at unit ID and update the comments line. I remove the for loop because I'm going to create only one line item instead of 5. Next, I'm updating the description and the targeting properties. I replace the inventory targeting with a new block of JSON to target the audio ad unit by its ID and include all descendant ad units. The rest of the targeting conditions in this example are not related to audio ads. So I replace them with the request platform targeting and video position targeting conditions. Specifically, I am targeting ad request made by a video player for the pre-roll position. That means the audio ads will be played before the content. Next, I need to specify that the line item is going to be associated with audio ads creatives by setting the creative size type to audio and the creative intrinsic size to 1 by 1. Additionally, I need to set the environment type to video player and the max duration of the ad to 15 seconds or 15,000 milliseconds. That's all for setting up the line item. I can now run the script and copy the output to this file for future use. Next, I edit the Create Creatives example to create both the master and companion creatives. It is important that you set the advertiser ID to the same company that owns the order and line items. Otherwise, you will get an error later when creating the line item and creative association objects. The first step to create an audio creative is to define its size as 1 by 1. Then, I create an audio vast redirect creative and pass the size object to it. Make sure that you set the isAudio property to true. In this demo, I'm using a vast XML URL pointing to Ad Manager servers. That's why I have to add a cache buster macro to load the same ad more than once. Next, I create a companion creative using the medium rectangle.jpg file in the same directory with the script file. So I have to change the path and remove the for loop to create only a single creative instead of 5. Now that I have both the audio and image creative objects, I can combine them in a single call to create creatives by passing an array and updating the output string to generalize the output message. When the script runs, it brings out the ID and name of both the master and companion creatives. I copy the output to the script for using it in the next steps. Next, I edit the Create Creative Set example in order to establish the relationship between the master and companion creatives by copying the creative IDs in the previous example. The last step is to create an association between the line item and the creative. So I edit the Create Leica example by copying the line item ID and the master creative ID to it. And that's everything you need to do to traffic an audio creative and line item using the API. Once you approve the order for the line item to transact, the associated audio ad and companion banner will show up in your web or mobile app's ad unit. Congratulations! You've learned all the steps to create an audio ad unit line item and all related objects. To recap, audio ads use a vast tag for the master creative, similarly to how video ads are trafficked. Audio ads can be served to both audio ad units and video ad units. So if you have already set up your inventory for video ads, you can target the new audio ad creatives to the same video ad units. That means setting up line items with the environment type and request platform targeting properties set to video player and a 1 by 1 size for the creative placeholder size. That's everything you need to know to get started with audio ads in the Ad Manager API. Thanks for watching.